And I'm just quietly letting my awareness drop into the silence of being. And starting with a clearing for feelings of exploitation. Under the exploitation is frustration. So that's clearing. These are all, by the way, in the physical body. And I'm seeing a lot of it like in the bones of the face. A lot of it's up in the face area. That could be the Mercury. Very possible the Mercury. And I'm feeling the energy signature of the Mercury. And I'm feeling how the body's tried to process it. Kidneys, stomach, liver. The digestive system was trying to process it. Kidneys trying to process it. In the blood doesn't like that kind of material. So we'll try to store it in places like the liver, places like that. So these areas, and the energy signatures still seems very lively in the physiology. So the energy signature is then isolated, like quarantined, and we let it fall into the field of being, because being always knows what to do. So we're looking at that. It's a very insidious, very kind of nasty energy signature associated with that particular toxin. The body doesn't like it. The body does not like that energy signature. But everything in creation is medicine. According to Charaka, who is one of the great ancient healers of all time, and the writer of the book of Ayurveda. And he sent his 2 acolytes out to find anything in the universe that wasn't medicine. And they searched the whole universe. That was back in the days when people could like fly around the universe. And they came back and said they couldn't find a single thing that wasn't medicine. So everything is medicine. The Mercury has its medicinal elements. But at this point, the Mercury has been flushing out of the body for such a long time. And what we're doing is that there's not so much of the physical material element there, but the energy signature is still there, and it's still like the body's kind of like recoiling from it. There's a kind of, I can feel that recoiling energy in the physiology from it. This energy, this Mercury energy, it has a value. Everything has a value. Everything. Even the darkest, most malevolent, most insidious energy has some value, has some point at which it can be pivoted on its own nature to become evolutionary. So we're just offering the concept of that back to being. So being will show us that spot. It'll just show us that spot. Permeable. It is highly permeable. It flows through. It flows through the system. It moves through tissues. It moves through spaces. So that's one thing, is it interfaces with space in the body. Even though it's a metal, it's like a metal that has more space in it than other metals. So we're looking at the relationship between Mercury and the space element. Cool, okay, we're gonna go back for another dive and see what else being has to say about that. It's present throughout the cosmos. And in parts of the cosmos where it's very cold, it becomes more solid. It's able to bind to certain types of really intense anger. And it's when that happens, and then it's flushed from the system, it carries a lot of material with it. So this is interesting and useful. Now, I don't know anything about the chelating capacity or potential of Mercury. I don't know if it tends to, at a physical level, if it tends to keep itself more separate, or not, but I absolutely know that it's acting. It can be kind of like a magnet. It can be sort of magnetic in a way, and it can attract certain other types of negativity that are in the system and bring them, like gather them. It can gather them all together. This is a wonderful ability. This is a great thing because there's certain types of negativity that we deal with that could otherwise be extremely elusive, much more elusive even than the Mercury. And so the presence of the Mercury in the body is able to help draw together these packages, little packages of negativity. And then as the body starts to release, it can release everything at once. So it has a kind of, we could say, it has a sort of unifying effect, a gathering of the armies type of effect on the negativity in the body. And it shows, it points like a little flag or something. So we've got one of our panelists is saying Mercury is related to Shiva. Well, that's very interesting because Shiva, is breaks down the relative in order to bring us to knowledge and wisdom. And what I'm seeing here in the body is that the Mercury is able to bring to light the wisdom of these little packages or pockets of different types of, the negativity that I see attracting around and like kind of collecting in with the Mercury are very complex and very abstract types of negativity, which are the types that can tend to be more elusive. Now we find their correlate in the causal level of the physiology. If this is being, unmanifest quality less being, the causal level is like the finest feeling level of the body. And that's where these various subtle regions of the ocean of the causal body resonate and their resonances form a foundation for the various material structures at the surface of creation. So we're finding the seed of the Mercury down at the causal level of creation. I see you. I see it. I see it. I'm just saying, I'm focusing my awareness into that region. And the first thing that's clearing are layers and layers and layers of fear. Many, many layers of fear. And they're clearing out of the head, and they're clearing out of the bones and the face and the neck and the spine and the brain tissue across the blood-brain barrier, it's clearing. And the fear is linked together with the energy signature, the resonation that's associated with the Mercury. There's also kind of a beneficent energy associated with the Mercury. Feels like almost an angelic form or something. There's something pure about it, if you ever see it. It makes little balls, and it's so pretty. It's like a pretty color. It's like there's something about it that's almost a little bit angelic or sweet, kind of, in a way. Clearing a lot of discordant feelings in the chest, heart, whole heart, Mahamarma area. Betrayal is being cleared from that area. More betrayal, many, many layers and layers and layers, just like that Saturnic energy that likes to build up structure in layers. Now it's being dissolved now in layers and layers. And these are the layers of discordant feelings that hold whatever little particles of the physicality of the Mercury still in the body are releasing it. And as that releases, it comes along with these other structures, like the mold, for example. Because the thing about molds is that, and also particular kind of very developed types of bacteria and viruses, is that these are the kind of evolved or developed negativities that the Mercury is able to show, or I would say flag in a way, collects them around in large enough quantity that our awareness can identify them. So we're now looking at this whole spectrum, this whole tapestry of the energy signatures of these different imbalances that are in the system. And for each person in this healing session, it's very beautiful because these are the types of subtle imbalances that can get in the body that can be very elusive to our immune systems. And in the light of our big healing collective and in the context of the gift of the Mercury, which is that it kind of gathers so that we can see it's in like larger quantities, so we can actually see and identify the energy signatures of these particular imbalances or toxins in the body, then everybody's ability to recognize them upgrades. And then once the energy signatures have been logged and we have a catalog, we could say, of these particular energy signatures, then anywhere they are in anybody's bodies, in any of our bodies, we can identify them. And of course, offering that energy signature now from each one of our bodies individually, any little bit of, some little bit of bacteria somewhere, some little bit of fungus or anything like that, mold, anything that's in the body, can be identified, and then we offer this signature. It's very abstract. In most of the bodies here, and I'm reading through the bodies in our collective, most of them is in very, very small quantity. So what we can do is, even in this very small quantity, we can now identify them, because it's like they went under the microscope, thank you to the Mercury, and we got to see them in larger quantities. So now we know them. Now we offer them back. That now we've seen under the microscope, we can identify it, and it's offered into the field of being. The field of being, divine being, educates the physiology with the specific interference patterns to modify the foundation of these toxins, modify their foundation. We go to the seed. We modify the seed or the foundation of the toxins in such a way as to render them neutral, is to render them harmless, and also allow the body to flush. More betrayal is clearing. All this betrayal, it tends to sit up in this part of the body here, up in the chest, neck, throat. Beautiful. There's this beautiful feeling when imbalances are leaving the physiology, and it's this lovely kind of like sloughing off kind of feeling, like the energy signatures are being released from the body at a subtle level, and that is extracting the foundation for the physical material structure of the toxin and imbalance. And that sloughing off feeling, I have to say, is, even though we're just a little bit over time, but it's important. And we may take off from this point tomorrow. Anybody who wants to come join me for that, you are all welcome. But I'm just saying that the sloughing off feeling over the course of many, many centuries and throughout the ancestral archives has become associated with suffering, discomfort, pain, etc. Because when we are in a compromised condition or situation, that's generally when our physiologies go into healing mode, right? And that's when we start looking for what I can get rid of and how can I simplify and how can I prioritize better and all that. So that sloughing off feeling, even though it helps us heal, and it's really important for the healing process, has gotten yoked together with experiences that were uncomfortable. So there were also, for the ancestors, were clearing these layers and layers and layers of memory patterns and impressions and habits of kind of recoiling. When we feel that sloughing off feeling, we're like, oh, that's something bad, right? No, it's not something bad. It's something good. We're supporting the ancestors to stand strong and to embrace the experience, because it's not really painful. It's just the feeling of letting go. Essentially, that's good. I'm seeing a lot of letting go happening up and down the spine and in the back, which is really good, because we hold a lot of stuff there. So letting it go is really good.